the homework itself is that it's a little bit more involved in terms of the steps. So we only have 6 problems for homework, but let's see where we're at the end of these 3 examples. If you feel like you need a little more practice together, we'll start and we'll do number 1 together and then kind of let you loose. All right, I think I'm even gonna go pencil. That should tell you something. Sometimes I make mistakes here. I'm not even going pen today. All right, here we go. So there are different methods for solving algebraically, and eventually you're going to get the choice of how you want to solve them, but for right now you have to solve them by the method that we're using today. So today's method of the day is substitution, and that's what you have to use. So think about substitution like you would think about substitution in a sport game. So let's say it was football and your quarterback got injured. Who are you going to put in his place? QB number 2, right? Another quarterback. And so you sub in something that's equal, right? Would I probably put in a linebacker as my quarterback? Linebackers play defense. They're pretty... No, we probably wouldn't, right? So what I'm trying to get at is that you put in something like. So you put in things that are equal to each other is what we do with substitution. This is the list of steps that we're going to look at and use as our guideline to kind of go through the process. So if you ever get stuck, you can go back to that list and say like, okay, did I do step 1? Did I try step 2? Almost like you're troubleshooting something, right? Like people are like, oh, did you try to unplug it and plug it back in? Did you try this? Like, this is like a troubleshooting guide. So if you get stuck, these are your steps. So step 1 is you're going to pick an equation. It doesn't matter which, and you're going to solve it for a variable. And it doesn't matter which. So typically what I say for this one is to pick the easiest equation to solve. So here's what I mean. So we're going to do the steps, we're going to talk about them and do them at the same time. Do you see how this top equation, it would be hard to solve for x or y, like we would get fractions? Do you agree? Like if I wanted to solve for x, I'd subtract this over, I'd divide by 3, and I'd be living in fraction land. If I wanted to solve for y, x, I'd subtract over the 2y, and I'd be in fraction land again. If you look at this one, do you see how this equation would be really easy to solve for x? Just add y. Just add water. Just add y. So we're going to add y, and I get x equals y plus 3. So this is step 1. Maybe I'll try to do highlighting. We'll see how this works. So I'm going to say step 1 is you're solving, bless you, an equation for a variable. And again, the weird part is a lot of times in math, like it's very specific. Like you do this to this part of the problem. This is one of those weird moments where you have choices, and that doesn't usually happen in math. So you pick an equation and you solve it for a variable. You could solve either equation and you could solve it for either variable, but the one that was easiest was to add over the y. So do we agree it's now solved for x? Okay. Then step number 2, we are going to take that and substitute it in to the other equation. So do you see how I use this equation so far? Like this is all the same thing, the stuff I have highlighted in yellow. So you're going to take what you got, this y plus 3, and you're going to sub it into the other equation. So you can't put it back into the same equation or it's not going to do anything for you. You have to put it into the other one. So go to your other equation, and do you see how it's telling me what x equals? So I'm going to go to my other equation, and in place of x, I'm going to put all this stuff. So originally this equation said 3 times x. I'm going to put a parenthesis where the x was. So here is 3, this is where the x lived, plus 2y equals 4. Do you see how my whole thing is still there? But in place of the x, I'm subbing in y plus 3. So that's the substitution step. That's the step where you're taking one equation and subbing it in to the other. So that's the second thing. All right. Now, why did we do that? Well, do you see how in these equations there are 2 letters? We can't solve an equation for 2 letters. Do you see how when I come down to this pink equation, now we only have 1 letter? Can we solve this? Yes. So there's a method to the madness, right? Like there's a purpose to this, and that's so we only end up with 1 variable so we can actually solve it. All right, so let's go through the solving process. We saw problems like this in the beginning of this chapter. What would you do first with this 3 out front? Not subtract it.
No, you divide it.
We could divide it, but I think even easier, yeah, let's distribute it in. That was, I think, the easiest answer. Could you divide it? Yes, but then you're going to end up in fraction land. So I think distributing is going to be the easier way to go. So 3 times y is 3y. 3 times 3 is 9. I still have my plus 2y. I still have my equals 4. So now I'm solving the equation. So now I'm kind of doing this step number 3. All right, do you see how on the left-hand side I can tidy this up? So let's add those like terms together. If I have 3y and 2 more y's, how many y's do I have total? 5y. So I have 5y plus 9 equals 4. So I'm just adding like terms together. They were on the same side already. And now how would I start to get y alone from here?
Subtract 9 from 2.
I love it. Subtract the 9 away. Perfect. So let's subtract that 9 away. So I've got, I'm going to come up here and keep going. 5y equals 4 minus 9 is negative 5. I'm going to draw a little road map here as well. And then how would I finish solving to figure out what y is? Divide by 5. So y equals negative 5 divided by 5. Negative 5 divided by 5.
0.
Ooh. Negative 1. All right, so that's half of my answer. It's only half. Now, I've done more than half the work, but it's half my answer. So this was all me going through and solving. So this would all be that green color. So if it helps you to highlight, go for it. All right, so this is me finding y. So I found y. I still need to find x. In order to find x, I'm going to take y and I'm going to plug it back into one of these equations. It doesn't matter which one. So I'm going to plug it in. Do you see how this one's a little bit simpler? I'm going to plug it into this one. So I'm going to take this equation. So my original equation said x minus y equals 3. Do you see how we just found out? Do you see how we just found out that y was negative 1? Okay, so I'm going to plug that in place of y. So this is going to read x minus negative 1 equals 3. So now I'm substituting it in. Hi.
Can we grab Tyler for the interview?
Not right now because we're in the middle of notes. Can you guys come back in a little bit?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Maybe.
Yep. All right, I gotta find another color. Ooh, blue. Perfect. All right. Okay, so now we're on to this one. So we're substituting in, and we got here. What do I do with this minus a negative business? So it's really plus, right? So x plus 1 equals 3. If I subtract 1 from both sides, what do I find out x is? 2. And now, I know there's a step 5 where it says to rewrite it as an ordered pair. You don't have to do that for me. As long as I can see what your x and y are, you don't have to rewrite it as an ordered pair. I'll show you what that looks like. But I'm fine with you telling me, hey, x is 2, y is negative 1. But what they're saying is to rewrite it like a point. So to rewrite it as 2, negative 1. So that would be your step 5. Well, so many arrows. was trying to make it all flow and follow each other, but I don't know if I made it better or worse with all those. So this is how they want you to write your final answer. Again, I'm fine if I can see both of them boxed in and what X and Y are, that's all I'm going for. Okay, so that's the process. Let's do it again. Okay, it gets easier every time, believe it or not. Look at the next equation. Start with the first thing we did. We looked at these two and we said, let's solve one for a variable. What variable would be the easiest to solve for? Y. In which equation? Yeah. So do you see how in this top equation I could get Y alone kind of easily because there's no number out front? So let's go that way. Let's start with that. So I've got 4x minus y equals 3. And I want to get y alone. How can I get rid of the 4x? Yeah, so we're going to subtract it to the other side. Negative y equals negative 4x plus 3. Then what should I do next? Yeah, we can divide by -1 or multiply by -1. Doesn't matter. Whatever sounds better in your head. Y equals positive 4x minus 3. So basically it changed all my signs. Okay. Did I solve it for y? Yeah. So this is all this yellow stuff again. This is me picking an equation and solving it for y. That one took a little bit longer than the other one, so that's kind of a bummer, but that's where we live. All right, now we're going to take what y equals and we're going to plug it into this other equation. So this other equation read 8x minus 2y. In place of the y, I'm going to put a parenthesis, equals 7. Do you see how I just found out what y was equal to? So I'm going to take that, and that gets put right into this parenthesis. Do you see how that eliminated our variable issue that we had two variables? Yeah, we can't solve one equation for two letters somehow. Like, that's just not a thing. So we need to get rid of a variable, and right now, that's how we're eliminating it. Okay, here we are. We substituted in, and now we need to solve. So this is the substitute step. So there's only one step that gets that pink color. That's the substitute step. Now we're going to solve. If you came across this equation earlier in chapter 2, what would you do to solve? Yeah, let's distribute. And remember, you're distributing a -2, so be careful. So you have 8x minus, oh, this is getting weird, 8x plus 6 equals 7. Ooh, weird times that we're living in. What happens to the 8x's? They cancel out. So I get a statement that says 6 equals 7. How do you feel about that?
That's not true.
Oh, and that just made everyone's day. You're so welcome. Didn't do that on purpose. You're so welcome, everyone. Okay. So 6 equals 7, we feel like that's not true, right? So if you come up with a statement that makes no sense, even if it makes you happy, if it makes no sense, it's a yes. It is a no solution problem. Now, there's one other option that can happen. Do you remember we talked yesterday about some problems that had infinitely many solutions? Okay, so what would an infinitely many solution look like? This would be a 7 as well, or this would be a 6 as well. You would come up with a true statement. So if you have 6 equals 6, or 7 equals 7, or 12 equals 12, whatever it is, if it's a true statement, it's infinitely many solutions. So these are almost kind of nice to come across because do I have any more work to do? No. So the longest problems are the ones that have one solution.
So you should give us like a bunch of the no's.
The no solution, yes, yes. That would be nice of me. I just give you the book problems though, so it's not like I'm purposely trying to be nice or not nice. So just know that ahead of time. Okay, story problem. LaToya is making bracelets. She's making 52 in total. And necklaces. Ooh. Oh, 52 bracelets and necklaces. Okay. So So she's making 52 things, and the things are bracelets and necklaces. All right, each bracelet takes her 8 minutes to make. Each necklace takes her 11 minutes to make. And she spends exactly 7 hours and 44 minutes making jewelry. All right, we need to come up with 2 equations. So it's a system of equations. We need to come up with 2 equations from all this business. Okay, I'm going to call bracelets B, and I'm going to call necklaces N. Make sense? Okay. All right, so the first equation I can think of is that I need to make some bracelets, I need to make some necklaces, and total, I'm going to make 52. I don't know how many I'm making of each, but the combination of the 2 gives me 52. Are we good with that for one of the equations? Okay. Help me get some ideas for what you might do with that next part with the timing.
B plus 11 and equals whatever, 7 hours.
8b plus 11n. Okay, good. I'm going to stop you right there because, yeah, it gets weird after that, right? Because we're going to have to do some conversions. So if it takes me 8 minutes per bracelet and 11 minutes per necklace, and then it's going to be the total amount of time. Do you see how this is in terms of minutes?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go ahead and make what it's equal to also in terms of minutes. Let me put the shade down so you're not being blinded. Is that better? Here you go. All right, so 7 hours. How many minutes are in an hour? 60.
64 minutes.
So this is going to be 420. And then I agree with you, Jackson. We're going to add 44, and we're going to get 464. All right, so that's just me putting it in terms of minutes, so everything's in the same unit of measure. Does that make sense? So you won't always have to do a step like that for a problem. Okay, now, does this look like what we had up here?
Yeah.
Okay, which equation looks easier to solve? The top one. What do we want to solve for? What do you feel like? B or N? B? Perfect. Me too. So B equals, if I subtract over the N, I'm going to get B equals 52 minus N. Do we agree I solved the first equation for B? Yes. Okay, so again, that's that yellow step. If it helps to color it in. Ooh, I didn't finish coloring this one in. This would be probably green right here. And then this would be my final answer. I don't even know what I would term that in terms of my coloring system here. All right, now we have to take this equation and plug it into the other one. Do you see how it said 8b? In place of the b, I'm going to put a parenthesis. Plus 11n equals 464. So here is my 8b plus 11n equals 464. I'm going to sub in. So this is the sub step. In place of where B was, I'm going to sub in my 52 minus N. You are fast with your math. Okay, hold on. Hold on, Miss Fossil's not that quick yet. Even though I drank my morning coffee, I'm still not on your level. Okay. 460? 416. Yeah, I agree. So when we distribute, I get 416 when I multiply these two. Minus what? 8n plus 11n equals 464. So this is me going into solving mode. Do you see how you have like terms right here? They're sitting right next to each other, so I'm going to combine them. What do I get when I combine them? Ooh, careful, yep. Okay. Now, I'm trying to get n alone. What would be a good next step? Yeah, let's subtract away the 416. So I get 3n equals, I'm hearing 48. Okay. And then what would be your last step to find n? Divide by 3 on both sides. And n equals, was it 16? 16. Okay, so I found one of the variables. I found n. Did I find both variables yet, though?
No.
No. Okay, so that was all that color. Now, when you go to plug it back in, there are truly 3 equations you could plug into. Ooh.
Mrs. Vessel?
Yeah.
Can you take attendance, please?
Yes, I sure can.
Thank you so
Give me
much.
like 2 minutes. I'm almost done with my notes. And I
Perfect,
swear
thank
that I
you.
will. I promise. I promise.
Awesome, thanks.
Okay, thanks. Bye. Ooh, that's going to be a good gem for the video. Can you take attendance? Yes, I can. Thank you. Okay, so you can take this n value and you can plug it into either of these equations, or you can even plug it into this yellow one. The yellow one's the easiest, isn't it? So let's plug it in here. So b equals 52 minus n. Well, we found out n was 16. And so then when we subtract, what do we get? Yeah, I agree with you, 36. And so that would have been this blue color is me finding the other variable. So again, you can plug in to any of those. So you can plug in here, this one's fair game, this one's fair game, or this one's fair game. Do you think you want to see another example and start the homework together? Yeah? Okay. So take out paper. I'm going to write your assignment, and while you're getting set up, I'm going to take attendance. Believe it or not, it's going to happen. I think we're on 6. Page 111, numbers 1 to 6. Again, you don't have a lot. There's a reason for that. Okay, get your paper set up. Love that. Okay. All right, which equation looks like it would be easier to solve? Top one? Oh, I was going to say the bottom one. Do you see how you could just subtract the 3y? I'm going to do bottom one. If you want to do the top one, you could do that too. That could be an interesting adventure. You could do the top one and make sure you get the same answer I do. I'm going to do this one and subtract over the 3y. Do you see how that gave me something immediately? Again, it doesn't matter which one you do, we're still going to get to the same spot. So this is kind of one of those sections where it's harder for me to check your work on a test or a quiz because you guys could take different directions to do the same problem. All right, so this would be that first step again. This is me finding a variable, solving for a variable. Now I'm going to take it and sub it into the other equation. I used this one, so I'm going to sub into this one. So 2, in place of the x, we get a parenthesis, minus y equals 9. And this goes where the x was. So that's my sub step. My substitution is right here. All right. Now, do I only have one variable? Yeah, good news. So I'm going to distribute, and I can actually solve. Yeah, of course. Negative 12 minus 6y minus 1 more y equals 9. What should I do next? Yeah, we've got some like terms. Let's combine those. I call it kind of tidying up. So negative 12 minus 7y equals 9. Okay, I want to get this y alone. What can I do to get y alone? Add 12. So this cancels. Negative 7y equals, let's see, this is going to give me 21. Bless you. And then to finish solving, I'm going to divide by my negative 7. So y equals negative 3. Nice. So again, this would all be that green step if we're thinking back to the steps. So if highlighting helps so you can see where you're at in the process and what you're doing, do it. If it just makes it look more ridiculous to you, don't do it. Yeah?
Did you check home with this today?
I did not. No. So I can take this negative 3 and I can plug it into this one, or the yellow equation. So the yellow equation is also an option. The yellow equation is typically the easiest. So this is negative 6 minus 3 times y. I just found y was negative 3. Order of operations, we need to multiply first. Negative 3 times negative 3 is going to be positive 9, and then negative 6 plus 9, 3. So I find out x equals positive 3. Now, you can also go back and check in your answer and make sure that it works. I don't know that I do that on homework, right? We've had that conversation before, that maybe not on homework, but on a test or a quiz, that could be a good idea. So if I take these and plug it back in, it should give me true statements. So 2 times 3 is 6. 6 minus negative 3 is really 6 plus 3. Yep, that's 9. And then if I come down here, 3 plus negative 9, yeah, that'd give me negative 6. So you can plug them back in to make sure it works and make sure your answer is good. Okay, so you have page 111 tonight, numbers 1 through 6. You already did number 1, so you have 5 left. Are you ready? Okay, on your mark, get set, go.